This is What's New Radio Extra Time. Each month, we share a longer interview with one of our guests in the energy sector on topics highlighting our services and our 100-100 vision for Barbados.
Thank you for joining me. November is CARICOM Energy Month, as celebrated by the Caribbean Community CARICOM Secretariat in collaboration with key regional institutions, development partners, and member states. This month, world leaders, including our own Prime Minister, have been in Glasgow, Scotland, attending the Climate Change COP26 with the aim of proposing sustainable solutions for a reduction in global warming. Each year, worldwide, our daily demand for energy increases, power our increasingly online lives. And if we are to reach that goal to slow down climate change, the transition from the use of fossil fuel, oil generation to cleaner renewable energy is paramount. Light and Power's 100-100 vision, 100% renewable energy and supporting 100% electrification, continues to be forefront in the way we do business as an organization. The company in total has invested over $100 million in renewable and other clean energy enabling projects at the Trent St. Lucie site, a 10 megawatt solar farm, a 5 megawatt battery storage facility, and a 33 megawatt clean energy bridge project. And don't forget the renewable energy rider introduced a decade ago for independent power producers. Last month, for only the second time in nearly 40 years, Light and Power applied to the Fair Trading Commission for a rate increase on electricity base rates. This will not only enable us to maintain a safe, reliable, and resilient electricity service, but it will allow ongoing investment in renewable energy systems that will meet your expectations, our customers' needs, and lead to a cleaner climate for our children and their children's futures. We have received a lot of questions and feedback about the rate application through our social media pages and emails. So this month, the What's New Radio program focuses on the rate review, and we have invited a representative from the general public to moderate the Energy Month Roundtable. Here is broadcaster and presenter Gaynelle Marshall.
I would like to welcome Managing Director Roger Blackman.
Good afternoon, Gaynelle.
Director Customer Solutions, Kim Griffith Tang Hao.
Good afternoon, Gaynelle.
And Manager Regulatory Affairs, Adrian Carter.
Hello, Gaynelle.
And thank you so much for inviting me to be moderator for this process. As we know, there has been much discussion and plenty of questions coming in from the customers of Barbados. And Roger, I figure I should just start with the head and just start with you, because one of the sentiments being echoed time and again, and you would understand as well, that we're in the midst very much still of a global pandemic. A number of people are still struggling financially in terms of their own social services, and they will continue to struggle for a while. So the big question that's on everyone's mind is, why would Light and Power choose now to file for a rate increase? Was there not a different time that could have been chosen if in fact a rate increase is needed?
Good afternoon again, Gaynelle. Thanks for that question. We certainly know that there's no ideal time for any business to ask customers to pay more for its services. And we certainly understand the impacts of COVID-19 and the resulting hardships for some of our customers. In the circumstances, or coming for a rate increase at this time, in this environment in particular, is an absolute last resort and critical to us continuing to have adequate resources to meet the level of service that is required by our customers. Our customers are central to all that we do, and we want them to be confident in the service that we provide. The increase will enable us to continue investment in the electricity network so that businesses can keep operating efficiently, our customers can work and study remotely, and facilitate other utilities such as water and telecoms to provide their services. Any further delay in us requesting a rate adjustment could undermine the future resilience and reliability of the electricity network.
When you look at a number of the areas that you pinpointed, the things that we need, the services we need light, we need water, we need telecommunications, all of those things cost money and all of those things also have implications. but how does a rate increase overall impact the use of these other services? Will customers inadvertently end up absorbing the increase that is also going to be experienced by these services?
So over the last decade, we would have seen that the cost of doing business that has increased, but it wouldn't mean that at every point Light and Power would come to customers to ask for an increase in rates. We would carefully manage our expenses and improve, become more efficient over time, have technological advances that would have helped us. And then the sum total means that by managing and being very prudent over the period, we wouldn't have to increase the rates of our service. And so I imagine other utilities would manage in that way as well. So it doesn't necessarily mean that the impact from our rate adjustment would cause an increase in those other services.
Now, Kim, Roger did mention that you cannot delay asking for an increase any further, but from some of the comments that we've been seeing on social media and in the traditional media and the general feedback, some people are insisting that their bills have already increased over the last 3 months. What does Light and Power have to say to this?
Thanks for that question, Gaynelle. So Gaynelle, there has been no change to customers' electricity base rates since 2010. And Gaynelle, when I talk about base rates, I mean the portion of the money that you pay to settle your bill that actually stays with Light and Power, because the bill is made up of different components, and all of the money that a customer pays on their bill doesn't stay with us. Some goes to the government in the form of VAT, and some is paid to local fuel supply companies for fuel and to renewable energy suppliers for the energy that they sell to us. And so I think to answer this question adequately, it would be important that we talk about how the bill is structured. And so, in fact, if we are granted the increase requested, it would only be the second time, I want to make this point, the second time that our electricity base rates would have increased in over 40 years. And the increase that customers may be seeing, why customers are feeling that the bills have increased recently, that relates to the fuel charge portion of their bill, which changes monthly and is driven by international oil prices. And that's why I really want to talk about the structure of the bills, because for residential customers who account for over 80% of our customer base, their bill consists of 3 main components. So there is the fixed customer charge, that's the first component, and the energy charge, that's the second component. And this is when I talk about the base rate or the portion that comes to Light and Power, it's those two that I'm talking about. We have not had those rates change since 2010. Now, the third primary component on the bill is the fuel charge. And that typically accounts for more than 50% of a customer's bill. And the fuel charge has indeed increased in recent months. And this increase is what customers have been seeing on their bill. This is as a direct result of the increase in international oil prices, as I said, and not as a result of any increase in Light and Power's base rate. The cost of fuel is a pass-through cost to customers. So I'm going to explain that. When I talk about a pass-through cost to customers means that Light and Power does not make any money or have any markup on the fuel, and we don't profit from the fuel. So every month we set the fuel clause adjustment, and the money we collect from customers for fuel is paid to local fuel suppliers and to renewable energy suppliers who sell energy into the grid. And most of us know that renewable energy suppliers include small residential customers as well as commercial customers who have PV systems that sell power into the electricity grid. So, and that's really in a nutshell what we would have seen happening. The international fuel prices would have increased, and as a result, customers would have seen an increase in the fuel charge, and that's why they may have assumed that we seen an increase in rates.
Thank you, Kim, for the explanation and for the breakdown of the bill. So, Adrian, I have a question for you now, because Kim just mentioned that the increase that customers are currently seeing on their bills relates to the increase in fuel charges and that your base rate actually has not increased since 2010. So what increase in your base rate are you seeking if your application is approved?
Thank you, Gaynelle. We applied for 11.9% increase in base revenue. However, the level of increase will vary depending on the customer tariff under which customers receive their electricity supply. Approximately 35% of our residential customers consume under 150 kilowatt hours in a month. And given the current fuel costs, these customers' bills are not expected to increase by more than $6 as a result of the rates we propose. A more typical residential customer uses around 250 kilowatt hours in a month, and those customers will see around a $12 or an 8% increase in their electricity bill. For commercial customers, the proposed increase in base rates will vary depending on the tariff under which these customers are served and will range between 5% and 20%. The typical commercial customer that experiences this 20% increase will see their current bill increase by just a little more than $300 as a result of the rate proposal.
Adrian, for the benefit of our listeners, can you break down the proportions of the bill? Parts are fuel charges, parts are taxes, parts pass through Light and Power as in it doesn't stay with you, and parts do. So can you break that down for us in terms of percentage?
Yes, the typical residential customer bill comprises of a customer charge, a base energy charge, a fuel charge, and taxes. The base charges, the base rates comprise of the customer charge and the energy charge, and those rates accounts for 32% of customers' bills, while the fuel portion of customers' bills accounts for just over 52% of their bills, and the remainder of the bill is taxes.
So just remember that for us, there's a portion of our bill, the fuel charge, and that charge is variable. And so that means that it moves on a monthly basis, and that accounts for more than 50, sometimes more than 50% of a customer's bill. And so we don't have a lot of control over that part because that is largely determined by international oil prices. And so it's not as a result of, any increases to Light and Power's base rate or anything like that. And it is a pass-through to our customers. And so every month, customers will see this portion of their bill, and it can move from month to month.
So, Roger, Adrian mentioned that the proposed increase in the base rates and what they may be. Does this actually have anything to do with the new generating plant that you're building in St. Lucie?
Yes, there's a connection there. The new generating plant or the clean energy bridge, which is currently being constructed in St. Lucie at a cost of just over $130 million, is a significant and necessary investment that is one of the factors influencing the need for a rate case at this time. This new plant is expected to be in service by the time the proposed new rates are approved. It is a more efficient plant. It's a very efficient plant and is expected to result in an approximate 10% reduction in the fuel cost component of customers' bills. So the net effect of these fuel savings will significantly mitigate the impact of the proposed rate increase on customers' bills. So for example, instead of the typical residential customer seeing an increase of $12, as Adrian just estimated, based on the application, the net increase will actually be somewhere around $3 based on current international oil prices and based on the fuel savings that we expect to derive from the Clean Energy Bridge when that is commissioned.
So what kind of time frame would people be looking at for those cost mitigation to take place? Cost savings, what kind of time?
That plant is close to being commissioned. Of course, it has run into a few delays as a result of COVID. Like every other project on the island, we had some delays there, but it is now expected to be in service from January 2022. So in a couple of months, that should be fully in service. You will begin to see that impact immediately after that plant goes into service.
In light of the rate increase that you are looking for, you are still one of the few utility companies that offers a discount for early payment. Will that still be a facility that is available to customers?
Oh, absolutely, Gaynelle. Yes, and you are correct. Light Power is one of the few utilities in the world which offers its customers an early payment discount on electricity bills. And we propose to continue to offer the 10% early payment discount to our residential domestic service customers. So this too could help customers mitigate any increases that we may be awarded if we are successful in our application.
Now, as you said from the very beginning, there's no such thing as a great time to ask for a rate increase. There's no way to bring out the pom-poms when we're asking customers for more money or more investment. But what would the Light and Power customer to take away from today's discussion?
Well, certainly we would want to assure customers that they can continue to count on us to safely provide them with energy that is both cost effective and reliable. And of course, we welcome the opportunity going forward to engage with customers and other stakeholders in the coming months on the proposals contained in our rate application.
Light and Power's application for a review of electricity rates was accepted by the Fair Trading Commission on October 31st, and we are awaiting a date for a formal hearing. Meanwhile, we want to answer any questions you may have about the rate review application. You can use our social media pages, BLPC Online on Facebook or IG, or tweet BLPC. You can also find information about the rates on our website, www.blpc.com.bb, or email us at blpcrates@blpc.com.bb.
What's New Radio is broadcast on radio every month, or you can listen to past episodes on our website, blpc.com.bb. Find us on social media at BLPC Online or tweet BLPC. Our customer service team is always ready to serve you. Call 626-4300 during office hours or 626-9000 for emergency assistance.